I'll tell you what, you can come up to my place for coffee, but I have to get up early tomorrow. You try that with a girl, never worked. I want to thank you for that nice ovation. I'm going to do something nice for you. I'm going to stick around for the whole hour. Standing in for Doc tonight, Mr. Thomas Newsom.
Hey, Thomas.
Wonderful guy, but kind of a loser. You know, his twin brother forgot his birthday? I'm glad you're in a good mood tonight, because we, the mighty Carson Art players, are really stretching themselves tonight. We took on an ambitious cause here, but we're going to give it a shot. And last night's audience, to tell you the truth, was a little tough. And how tough? Well, come on. You know you're in trouble when you walk out and during the monologue, a little old lady is trying to tune in over easy on her hearing aid. Now, I know a lot of you from out of town, and California is different. Especially, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
We have about every strange cult out here you've ever heard. You've heard of the Moonies?
Right.
There's a new group cult out at Malibu Beach called the Sunnies. They believe that when you die, you come back as Suzanne Summers' T-shirt. Weird. Now, for your dining pleasure after the show, we have a lot of fine restaurants right out here in Burbank, on Burbank's famed Restaurant Row. Now, there's a new place, Nakamichi's Sushi Bar and Bait Supply Restaurant. I like that very much. It is not one of your classier Japanese restaurants. They make you take off your shoes, and while you're eating, they sell them. But the restaurant, I was there the other night.
Really?
Yes. Does have authentic Japanese atmosphere. They even serve digital fish. I did have a late-breaking news bulletin from Washington. David Stockman just trickled down to the job as a postal clerk. Finally, the administration is getting fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
Alexander Haig wants to set off a demonstration bomb in Europe, and Stockman just set off a demonstration bomb in Washington. According to, he said, apparently he gave an interview to Atlantic Monthly, David Stockman, and he's been called on the carpet now. And according to Reaganomics, that's what they call the president's economic policy, the way it works is if David Rockefeller, for example, makes $50 million in this next year, according to his theory, some of it will trickle down to a black family in Watts. Now, if you believe that, you will also believe that Colonel Gaddafi is a graduate of the Dale Carnegie School. Don't think so. The Democrats are having a field day at President Reagan's expense. Right after this thing, Tip O'Neill rushed back to the House of Representatives, called them into session, banged the gavel, and said, "Let's vote on anything." You say it was good timing. Stockman, I understand, offered to resign.
Yes.
He was refused by President Reagan, and David Stockman decided, he reconsidered, says he's going to stay on the job. He said, "Look, the economy is going down the dumper. I don't want to be out of work." That wasn't the exact quote. As you know, the space shuttle is now circling the Earth. I understand the news late this afternoon, they're coming back a little bit early.
Yes.
Apparently, it's not a major problem, but enough that they have to land when? Saturday instead of?
Saturday.
On Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you see this? How many of you watched the launch today? Every newsman in the world is down there, including Dan Rather. Now, that was kind of interesting because, CBS is trying Rather out and trying to get him accepted. And when Rather was commenting this morning, they had Walter Cronkite in a little box. Interpreting whatever Rather said, so the people at home would believe it. David Hartman was down there of Good Morning America. Do you think David is going overboard a little bit with that homespun image? He had his couch out on by the space shuttle. And what's her name? Joan London was knitting baby booties. Just a little laid back. Let's see. Did you celebrate Memorial Day yesterday?
Of course.
Ed does something, he waxed nostalgic. on Veterans Day, actually, not Memorial Day, called it Veterans Day. He went up to his attic and put on the uniform that he wore during World War II. It was a nun's habit. Kept you out till about 1944,
right.
didn't it? Yeah. We have a good show tonight. We have Mr. Dom DeLuise with us. We have one of my favorite gals, Miss Betty White, who's here. We have comedian Jerry Seinfeld is on the show tonight. The mighty Carson Art Players with a big sketch. And later on, I don't think you mentioned this, Francis the Mule and Ed the Talking Horse will be out here and say that thanks to Doris Day, they now get a hot meal now and then. Just threw that in for us, and I should have thrown it out for us. Thank you for coming. We'll be right back.